Hello and welcome to the first Out of Spec Bits episode of 2026. This is the year of the horse, and for those of you that already know me, I'm a big horse girl, so I think this is going to be our best year yet. Today I want to talk about Rivian, and I think it's pretty clear if you've owned or driven a Rivian for more than a year, you've definitely felt the software evolution. I feel like the car that I got in May of 2025 is completely different than the car I have now. And with Rivian's recent announcements during their autonomy and AI day, I think it shows that the company isn't just fixing the UX lag and routing glitches. They're building an entirely new software and autonomy foundation that I think is going to reshape Rivian vehicles and what they can do in 2026 and beyond. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down where the Rivian software started, for my experience last year, where it is now, and some evidence-based expectations for next year, including their hands-free driving, AI assistance, and autonomy roadmap realities. So come along with me while I go over my Rivian experience and some expectations for the upcoming year. Let's start off by talking about all of the software improvements over the last year. So I think we should all start with the UI responsiveness and flow. Early Gen 2 software often, to me, felt really laggy when I was navigating between menus, from climate to navigation to charging, and it would occasionally pause before acting on an input, and I didn't know if I actually tapped the right thing. But with updates throughout 2025, including that 2025.46 release, menus have become significantly more responsive and intuitive to use. My touch inputs register a lot faster, the transitions feel smoother, and my everyday interactions within the UI just feel more polished, which is exactly what I would expect when we get updates. Getting a little bit deeper, I want to talk about the navigation and routing gains. So that early routing could be optimistic and a little slow to recalculate, but with newer updates, it adjusts the routes faster and it provides a far more realistic ETA, which is something I need because I absolutely will arrive at 1% and not think twice about it. When we're talking about charging and ADAS improvements, the Rivian's enhanced assisted driving, which includes the refined adaptive cruise control and their lane change behaviors, feels a lot more confident and predictable. I don't feel like I come up to a car on the highway and it slams on the brakes anymore, which is huge. It's especially noticeable as the system's logic has evolved to prioritize real world conditions rather than just ideal ones. And then the newest update has introduced some exciting drive styles. So they offer mild, medium, and spicy, and that lets owners know how aggressive lane changes are and how gap distances behave in assisted driving modes, which I really appreciate. And to me, those aren't cosmetic changes. They genuinely affect how you interact with your car, and it's been a huge improvement and something you just don't get in a traditional vehicle that doesn't offer over-the-air updates. So I've been very happy with it. Now, I want to connect those improvements to what Rivian actually announced at their Autonomy and AI Day. I was lucky enough to go there and really appreciate the invite, so thank you, Rivian. The big update, this was my most exciting update, was their universal hands-free offering for their Gen 2 vehicles. That update is already out, and I've been using it a little bit. It expands the assisted driving coverage to over 3.5 million miles across the United States and Canada. And so that's a lot better. That was one of my biggest gripes all of 2025, was that I could only use my lane keep assist on pre-mapped highways. So what it says is that as long as there are lane lines available, it works. I'll do a full universal hands-free review. But coupled with that announcement, they announced their new subscription package called Autonomy Plus. It's priced at roughly $2,500 up front or $49.99 per month. And with that package, they will continually expand autonomy features over time, which to me signals Rivian's move towards recurring software revenue rather than relying only on vehicle sales. And I think as a company, that's something they'll be able to rely on consistently, which is huge. That'll be arriving early this year. Now, one of the biggest software milestones planned for 2026 was their announced Rivian AI Assistant. This is a context-aware AI voice interface that's integrated directly into the vehicle's operating system. Now, the assistant is designed to interact with calendars, vehicle functions, and diagnostics. So it's not like basic voice commands, which I think will be interesting. I'll be curious to actually use it and put it to the test. And then on top of all of that, they're also building what they call Rivian Unified Intelligence, or the RUI. It's a data foundation that connects cloud systems, vehicle hardware, service data, and customer-facing features. And this is kind of going to be the backbone that's intended to enable predictive maintenance, if you're forgetful like me, smarter diagnostics, and personalized experience, along with faster feature rollouts, which is something me as a tech nerd, I love. And I think it's exciting because these aren't vague promises. They are documented commitments that are laying the groundwork for next level software features, which is kind of what I think the company is leaning towards. Like, yes, they make vehicles. We love them. I talk about it all the time. But I think in order for them to be a successful company, they really have to make a big software push. So let's go ahead and turn those announcements into concrete expectations. Now, starting with the universal hands-free, we already have it. I hope to see improvements over the first quarter of the year. But with those improvements, I want to see it really be reliable. If there are lanes that are, that you can see, I want it to work everywhere, not just some places, if that makes sense. I think it's going to fundamentally change how Rivian drivers use assisted driving in their day-to-day, and I think it'll be a big push with Rivian. Now, with that AI assistant, that'll be arriving in early 2026. It's not just going to execute commands like navigate me to 123. I feel like Rivian's positioning it as a context-aware, meaning that it can understand your schedule, the state that your vehicle's in, and your preferences. And that's a big jump from traditional voice control. And I'm very, very curious to see how that works in the real world. In addition to that, we've got Rivian's roadmap that shows continuous feature expansion for Autonomy Plus. And I think they'll be trending towards driving with less human input under controlled conditions. They should, because we've got FSD as a pretty heavy competitor. It's a clear progression from hands-free lane driving to assisted on-ramps and off-ramps, and eventually towards eyes-off capability. I don't think that'll come in 2026, eyes-off ability, but we'll see. Now, the next-gen autonomy hardware is coming. So they've already announced their new in-house autonomy chip and next-generation computing platform, along with their LiDAR integration for the upcoming R2 and future vehicles. That means that Rivian's software ambitions are backed by a serious hardware investment, not just simple UI updates. So take with that what you will. Now, let's keep those expectations grounded. Universal hands-free driving does not currently stop at stop signs or respond to traffic signals, and I think that's a baseline that FSD has set out. It still means that it's a, level 2 system, and it requires driver attention at all times. Their Autonomy Plus is designed to evolve gradually. It's not a single update that's going to unlock that full autonomy. It's a feature set that's going to grow slowly over time. So I think it's something we need to document from the beginning of 2026 to the end. Guys, that's the real Rivian software story. My experience has been pretty crazy. Maybe not crazy, but from their early UI polish and the assisted driving improvements that they made in 2025 to now their hands-free expansion, the AI voice assistants, and their very clearly defined autonomy roadmap for 2026. These are systems that Rivian is actively building and deploying. And I just think that's so exciting as like a nerdy tech perspective. And if you're a Rivian owner or a driver and you've noticed real changes from recent updates, or if you have opinions on the upcoming Autonomy Plus and that Rivian assistant, please leave some information down in the comments. I would love to know what you guys kind of think the next major Rivian software and autonomy milestones will be. And then in addition to that, I might get a little sappy here. I just want to thank everybody who has commented and supported my growth on these channels over the last year or so. To go from not wanting to be on camera to doing this full time and learning and making mistakes and genuinely enjoying the process. I truly couldn't do it without all of you. And I know that sounds so cheesy, but I'm really appreciative of being welcomed into this community. And more so than that, just having the freedom to make mistakes. I hope to learn a lot more in 2026, and I will continue to make videos for this channel. I read every comment, every email that you guys send me, so please don't stop, and let's have a really good year. I'll catch you guys for the rest of 2026. See you later.